What is up, you guys? It is your boy John, the voiceover guy here from Puma Plow. How's everybody doing? Do appreciate you guys clicking on another On the Farm, and welcome back to expanding the shop. Well, this is part 2 of it anyway. And yeah, it's quite a bit of work, and you also have to remember that this was filmed, this part of the video, it was filmed the day after I rolled my ankle all up. And so between my ankle issue and the issues that Dad has going on, it's just like gimp on gimp working on a project, you know. So it took a lot longer than it probably should have, but you know, things like climbing ladders took a second, if you catch my drift. With a bum ankle, for those of you that don't know, maybe you don't watch the other series and stuff, I rolled my ankle out in my front yard taking down Christmas lights the day before this was filmed, and yeah, did it ever roll? Oh boy, I ended up laying flat on my face, screaming and cussing. I won't lie, I did. I was screaming and cussing out in my front yard, and people laughed at me that were around me. So anyway, enough of that. So basically, guys, continuing the shop project here, expanding the shop out towards the back of the shed by 4 feet or so. Like exactly 4 feet, actually, but you know, whatever, it's all good. So we already have 2 main walls set. We already have like the top angle parts to the walls set. Like, you know, we worked on it last video as well in the On the Farm series. So this one we are just continuing, and we're putting these blocks up so we can mount our, like, I guess you call them rafters. I don't know. I explained in the last video that this doesn't necessarily have to be built up to any kind of code or anything like that, because we're, you know, it's inside of another building. It's not exposed to wind or too much rain or anything like that. Now, I said too much rain. This part of the shed, the roof, honestly, on this old shed here that we are in, probably should be replaced at some point in time. But for now, it's still hanging on. And so if we get a lot of rain in a certain direction, it will rain inside the shed, basically. So yeah, we'll get to that part later. So right here, guys, this looks kind of weird. It's a 1x8 with a 1x3, 1x4, whatever. What's a 1x3? Put on the face of it, kind of. And what that is for is to clamp our plastic to. We are still going to have a plastic doorway across this whole end of it, basically, so that we can drive tractors through. In the summer, just roll up the plastic, put it up with some wire, and you're good to go. And it's out of the way, and you don't have to worry about it. It's actually a pretty awesome way to go at it, because, you know, you get a nice wall, quote unquote, out of plastic, curtain, whatever you want to call it, in the winter, and it holds the heat, and it's kind of nice. And then come summer, you just roll it up, and it's out of your way, and it's not too bad. So we're setting the rafters here. I guess you call them, I don't know, cross stringers. I don't know, something like that. But basically just a little bit of support here for the actual roof that we will be putting on here. You can see that other roof there, that is above our workbench back there to protect the drill press and our sander and stuff like that we keep on that particular workbench, because this spot of the shed does leak from time to time. Now, if it's just a garden variety rainstorm, not a big deal usually. It's when there's a lot of wind that drives the rain up under the tin, because I explained it in the past that there's actually the steep part of the roof and the not so steep part of the roof. And if you get a lot of wind, it'll drive the rain in that joint, basically, between the steep part and the not so steep part. So there is that. And by the way, I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm all about DeWalt. You guys already know that. Not sponsored, of course. I would take it. Don't get me wrong. It is a product we've been using for years. And we actually have 2 impact drivers. So right here, I have the 20-volt impact driver. Dad's on the other side with the 18-volt impact driver. So it just makes life so much easier to have 2, where he can, you know, he's up on a ladder, I'm up on a ladder. Bada bing, bada boom. We don't have to, like, throw tools back and forth. It's kind of nice, not going to lie. It is kind of nice. We've had the 18-volt for many years now. Probably, I want to say it's been over 6 years. My buddy Casey got it for us, actually, for Christmas. And yeah, that's the one that Dad's using right here. You can tell from afar because the LED light on the front only is on when the trigger's pulled. On the 20 volt, if you pull the trigger, the LED light will stay on for a few seconds afterwards, which is very nice, of course. But there's that. So Dad's using the 18 volt with the adapter, by the way. I got Dad at Christmas this adapter kit that allows you to use your 18 volt tools with the 20 volt batteries. And it's awesome. It gives the tools, I don't know if it's supposed to or if they claim, but I'm saying that I'm noticing more power in the old 18 volt tools. Words are still hard, by the way. I'm noticing more power in the 18 volt tools personally with the 20 volt battery in there. I don't know. I like it. It wasn't terribly expensive for the conversion kit. And the particular one I got came with two 20 volt batteries. You can also buy it just the converter basically that goes in where the old battery used to go on your 18 volt DeWalt tools. So there's that. Now, I know this looks really silly what Dad's doing up here, and trust me, when he said he was going to put cardboard up there, I kind of looked at him sideways like, huh? But it makes sense because this area will be getting some rain on it occasionally. We were worried about just throwing a tarp up there and having it sag in between the rafters and then collecting water. So by putting something up there for like a sheathing, basically, it gives it a little bit of strength and should eliminate that sagging of the tarp if it happens to get rain on it. The main portion of the shop here, the silver tarp that's up there, we had like one spot, and I think there's a bucket up on top of the tarp actually, but like literally one spot that happens to get a little bit of rain on it from time to time, but not too bad. But like I said, back here will get more rain, so we could put a gutter across there and collect it for something. We probably won't. And then guys, your average run-of-the-mill good old blue tarp. I know. Now, the reason we're using the average run-of-the-mill blue tarp is they were actually freebies once upon a time at Harbor Freight. So we don't have any money invested in these genuine Harbor Freight blue tarps, okay? It is going to take two of them, but like I said, they're freebies. They've been behind the seat in Dad's truck because you never know when you might need a tarp, you know. If you're raking leaves, you just never know, okay? You never know when you might need a good old classic blue tarp, you know, a 5x8 tarp. You just never know. So Dad has had two of these in the back of, or behind the seat in his white work truck for a long time. And when he was talking about expanding the shop, he's like, yep, we're going to use those tarps. And I was like, okay, let's do it. So we're putting it up there. These staples are maybe temporary. Well, if the gun fired, you know, take two. These staples might be temporary, but we might leave them in there. It's not going to hurt anything to have staples through the tarp to hold it down. I will say the silver tarp, if you get the shed or the shop hot enough in the wintertime, that tarp will actually start to float in spots. It's kind of great. So here's this adapter, by the way, I was talking about before. I'm putting it on the 18 volt cordless DeWalt Sawzall, actually, is what I'm putting it on here, because we needed the Sawzall to make some cuts. And by the way, that was the jump between Sunday and Wednesday. We're on to Wednesday now. So yeah. So basically, once upon a time, guys, this was the outside wall of this shed. Okay, this was the outside wall until Dad and Grandpa added the additions to the shed. And from what Dad was telling me, they added one summer and the next one the next summer. And so you can kind of see there, obviously there's a foundation there. Grandpa and Dad, and probably Dad's brother, broke out the foundation that was there to create basically access to the shed, because you wanted to be able to go from your addition to the other part of your shed. You know what I'm saying? So Grandpa had basically slid over the studs and stuff, but it wasn't quite tied together like Dad and I would do it, basically. Grandpa was quite the carpenter. He could build pretty much anything. But for some reason, he just didn't take a little bit of time here to tie this last stud, basically, together with the other one. So it was kind of weird. And the more we looked at it, we're kind of like, why would he do that? But anyway, so we're like, hey, let's fix it real quick. And we had to cut some pieces because, of course, this is all rough sawn timber from way back in the day. And we don't have access to rough sawn timber anymore. So we had to cut blocks to put in here. Because realistically, that outside one closest to Dad right now was kind of just hanging out there and holding a fair bit of weight. So it's like, hey, let's sandwich some boards in there and attach it to the other one. We have these 6-inch screws and, of course, DeWalt impact gun. Just, you know, drives it home like it's not a problem at all. Just saying, that is the 20-volt gun. 18-volt would do it too, but that is the 20-volt gun. So yeah, we figured like, hey, let's tie this together just a little bit better than it ever has been before. Why not make it just a little bit stronger? You know what I'm saying? It's not going to hurt anything for us to put these blocks in here and drive some screws and just make it a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Except for if we ever have to take this wall down due to like a flood or something. Then that's going to suck. I'll have to take these 6-inch screws out. But like I said with the DeWalt tools, not really a big deal. I'm not going to lie. Of course, it made the gun work, but drives it home like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but we really weren't sure why Grandpa did what he did, but that's okay. It's all good. It happened many, many moons ago, and it's all good. I just thought I'd show the power of the DeWalt over and over and over again. Because why not? You know what I'm saying? Why not? So we decided we needed some sawhorses out again. We had sawhorses out, and then we put them away. Like Dad's rack that he built for sawhorses, by the way. We have a bunch of sawhorses, okay? You never know how many projects you're going to have going at once on the farm. By the way, John Deere 111, just chilling, you know, just chilling. So what we're going to do here, this next section that we're going to be cutting here, we originally were going to just put plastic in from basically the end of the workbench to the new wall because plastic was there before. And then we decided to not put plastic there and go ahead and just close it up. We never walked through there. Basically, during the summer, we could, in theory, say walk through there to get to like our small tractors and stuff. We keep them under the loft on that side during the summer. But we never did it. So it was like, you know what? Let's just close it up and move on from there. And I don't know what that noise just was. My apologies. Something made a noise on my computer. But anyway, let's just roll on here. So I'm marking the board so Dad can cut it here in just a second. I basically, I just let Dad run the what's it called? The circular saw, worm drive saw, whatever you want to call it. I kind of just let Dad do it, and I'm okay with that, and he's cool with it, and there's that. So you can see Dad's gonna slice that off real fast. I have no idea what that noise was on my computer. Anyway, Dad's gonna chop this board down to size. This actually came out of a lawnmower crate. You guys know Dad sells lawnmowers, and hey, if we can save wood and use it again in a future time, why not? Why not? So now we have to cut all these notches. The way the shed was converted by Grandpa back in the day, to put this panel up there, we have to make all these notches. So Dad's run the worm drive saw, the circular saw, and I have the DeWalt 20-volt oscillating tool is what we always call it, vibratory saw, whatever you want to call it. Awesome piece of awesome tool. I was going to say piece of equipment, but it's a tool. Awesome tool. It's one of those tools that you really don't use that often, but when you use it, it's like it's worth its weight in gold. You know, it has very particular applications, and we love it. My brother-in-law actually gave it to Dad a few years ago as a Christmas gift, and you know, the tool looks brand new because we really haven't used it that much in like 2 years. But it is an awesome tool to have. And it's one of those things where you're like, once you start using it for projects, you find other projects to use it on. You know what I'm saying? Like, we moved a light a while back and like used it to cut nails because, you know, it was perfect for that. And here we're cutting all these notches out with it. But you can see you have all kinds of stuff up there. Electrical's in the way. Just all kinds of stuff is in the way up there. Hence all the notches. There actually needs to be one more notch on the other side of this board as well. It was a very notchy board. Okay, let me just put it that way. It was very, very notchy. As you can probably tell. by cutting all of the notches. But I mean, how else would you cut that normally? You know, this tool, it's just so awesome. It's one of my most favorite tools at the farm, to be perfectly honest. It is something I look forward to using, and actually I get to use it here soon at home. I'm not going to film it what I'm using it here at home for, but I'm cutting holes in drywall to reroute my computers basically on the other side of a wall. It's a whole thing. But cutting drywall, it'll just eat it like it's not even there. So pretty awesome. So pieces all in, driving some screws home. That's the 18-volt DeWalt with the conversion in it, by the way. And like I said, I'm noticing some more power out of that bad boy. I don't know. I love it. So basically our 18-volt batteries, as far as I'm concerned, can kind of just stop being charged. We have a shelf full of old 18-volt batteries. I might have to break them all out for you guys sometime and show you. But basically every year at Christmas, for years, Lowe's would always put the 18-volt drill on sale with 2 batteries. Well, we didn't necessarily need the drill, but we always needed batteries. So Dad would buy one like every year. And now they do it with the 20-volt stuff. But anyway, so I'm on the back side of that board, screwing the top of it into the floor joist above for the loft. And basically hanging the board from that so that, you know, it's all good to go, nice and solid. And I like that piece of wood I'm showing you guys a close-up of. Anyway, drive a couple screws home as high as I could reach and / get the tool up in there. And we're good to go there. So that piece, because it was a used piece, it was recycled basically, that last piece that we hung up there. It was not long enough to go all the way down to the ground. It was only like a 6-foot piece, not an 8-foot piece. But hey, it was free, so can't complain. So we had this piece up in the loft as well. We have a whole bunch of this stuff up in the loft that's all random shapes and sizes and stuff. So we had this piece up there as well, I believe. And so Dad got it down to fill in the bottom. And basically, guys, as we were cutting this, I believe I pulled my phone out here somewhere. I don't think I filmed it, but I pulled my phone out somewhere and I was like, oh, it's time for us to leave. Because this was on a Wednesday, and, well, you guys know, I stream on Wednesday nights, and so sometimes we have to cut farm time a little short on Wednesdays so that I can get home and get stream fired on up. But you can see how just this tool makes quick work of this project. It's so awesome. I love the thing. It has a nice headlight as well, so you can see what you're doing, unless you have your hand on it like Dad does right now, actually. That's why there's no LED light right there. So, but like I said, we looked at the timer and it was like, or not the timer, but the clock, that thing, the clock. And we're like, hey, it's time to go. So that is all for this video. Here in a second, that will be all for this video. I do appreciate you guys watching our shed project. We will have more because we're not done, obviously, but it will not be an entire video, most likely. It'll be lumped in with another project that we started working on like forever ago. So we'll get back to that. And yeah, that'll be the next video in the On the Farm series. Until next time, I do appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you guys hit that like button for more. Subscribe if you have not already done so. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, toodles.